How did you find out? Who told you? And that you were benched?
I woke up at 7 a.m. in the morning in Japan, and I got a DM from manager, from owner. Yeah, that's how I found out. They told me I was replaced.
Hello guys, welcome to my first video interview. Today we have a really special guest. We have Exakick here, ex or former SK AD carry or botlaner, and it's a French superstar, you know, so we have the pleasure to have him with us. How you doing, man?
Doing good, kinda bored at the moment. I mean, not bored, but I'm starting to get the feeling of wanting to compete again, you know? I found stuff to do during the free time I have.
Lately, you have been having a lot of free time, let's say like that. So, what are you doing with it? Like, are you using your free time to focus more on yourself and desintoxicating a bit of League of Legends, or are you like full focusing on League and playing 24/7?
For now, I'm focusing on making my brand grow in a way. Like, I'm streaming almost every day, like 6 to 10 hours of solo queue or like random other games. I'm playing a lot with the Trayton. I think you probably know him. And Caliste also. We are just hanging out in on Discord, and so I'm still playing League, right? Almost all the time, but I'm not playing it full tryhard, you know, not yet. I'm still focusing on streaming and stuff, and then I think when the stream will be very big, decently big, I will probably take some time off or maybe go to Korea to prepare the off season, you know, when the mercato will start and team will start to contact me, I will be very in shape, you know.
I will link that with my first question that you like answered a bit, which is what are you doing exactly to keep yourself in shape? Like, what are your plans to keep yourself in shape?
I mean, right now, let's say to keep myself in shape, there's like percentage, right? Like right now, I think I would be at 60%, right? I just play League, I just play solo queue, I just play, you know, like just trying to have fun, trying to try out still a bit, like both, and streaming. And I think if I really want to like be at my peak, I will play solo queue, obviously. Maybe book like 1 month in Korea of bootcamp. I mean, I will review all the whole players' replays. I will review my replays, and then I will be like at my peak. That's what I was doing in LEC when I was playing. Right now, I'm kind of chilling, taking some time off. But when I will grind really hard, it will be more, I think, September, October, something like this, you know.
Okay, so you told me a bit about like going to Korea and all this stuff. So it seems like you have really well planned how it's going to be your year, right? So
yeah,
I'm curious a bit on currently, what would you say like there are Exakick's short-term goals for this year or early next year? Like, do you have settled some goals for yourself?
I think rank 1 in solo queue on EU. Right now it's Caliste, right? But I think I will try to challenge it a bit when I will try out really hard. I think streaming, I can't really tell you like, oh, I want 2k viewers per month, oh, I want that subs, you know? But I think I just want people to come to my stream, and I just want to have fun, because before I was streaming also, but I would stop the stream like after 1 or 2 hours because I would get tilted from solo queue. But I think now, because many people are coming, it's like it became really fun. So I think I just want to, for the stream side, I just want him to be fun still. And apart from those, I think now that I came back from vacation, I will also grind on the gym in the morning. That was one of my goals, like having a nice schedule, gym in the morning, and then when I come back, I just start streaming all the whole day. But apart from those goals, I don't really have anything else. Like solo queue, gym, and stream.
Being back to LEC is one of them, right?
Yeah, but that's like 2025, and I mean, to be fair, I think there are very good AD carries in LEC right now. There are other AD carries that for me not so good, and I can compete with them. But yeah, I will see what the future holds for me. But so far, I can't really say, yeah, I want to go in. I want to take this guy's spot, because you know, off season is very funny sometimes.
Unexpected, right?
Yeah.
Talking a bit about off-season, unexpected things, and for me, one of the most shock things about off-season was your change. So I want to ask you, first question, straight one, how did you find out? who told you and that you were benched. And what were your first impressions when I guess SK manager coach called you and told you, okay, Exa, you were not going to be on the first active roster next split, and what were the explanations that they were given to you?
So the off season, how it happened when we lost, blah blah. There is like some days, like you just go some days off. Then you have some individual meetings to say what are your thoughts on the season, what would you change, blah 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 blah. So we do this. Then I was planning to go to Japan, because I had some pretty rough splits. I think like winter was fine, like at the beginning, then it went down. And spring for me was not very good. Then I really wanted to reset mentally, because I wanted to be ready for summer split. And I think the way to do this is like take some time off league, reset and refresh myself. So I went to Japan. So between Japan and Europe, there is like, I think it was 7 or 8 hours difference. Yep. Like I was ahead of time, So for 3 weeks, I think I was constantly asking management what they would do, what was their plan, and they told me we don't know, we need some more clarity, we will tell you when we know, blah blah blah. I think how I found out was I woke up at 7 a.m. in the morning in Japan, and I got a DM from manager, from owner also, David.
Yeah, owner, great guy, we love him.
I don't think head coach messaged me at the beginning. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's how I found out. They told me I was replaced. That the option lowered the buyout, so they could go for it, at the last moment, and that it's very unlucky for the timing, and they are sorry, and that if I wanted to, I could play in academy.
Yeah, we will talk a bit about academy after. I wanted to ask you, did you feel that if this change was happening, like instead of on the third week, on the first week, you could have found out a new team or something like that? Or for you, whenever you find out like, okay, I'm getting replaced, off-season is due?
For sure, because I was already talking with my agent, but we didn't know what SK wanted to do. But I think as a player, I'm not like, I think I have pretty good like, not popularity, but like
cloud.
I think like cloud, I think people think I'm not that bad, So I think maybe it would not be LEC project, like inside project, obviously, but I think it would have been at least like top ERL project, and I think it would have been fine for me because I would.
You would have asked, for example, to go to top ERL LFL.
Yeah,
right?
And I would. It would be my choice, like to select the roster or not select the roster, but like I see the players and I'm like, yeah, I'm down to play, I think it's just very unlucky, and I think it's the rule book is pretty badly done about this, because if you start talking without the permission of your team, it's like kind of poaching,
Yeah.
And I was not granted permission because they also didn't want to change me until the buyout was lowered. I think it was probably for Royal, to be honest. Yep. And yeah, I think it's just very unlucky, and it's favored a lot the orgs in a way, because they can just do whatever they want with the players.
It's good to clarify things, because for me, for example, my first thought was, okay, if he was getting benched, he was not going to play 100% because like he didn't want to go to ERL, and also like when the rumor came out that you rejected the academy, I was like, okay, he just want to take an off split, But it's really interesting to say that, because for me, like the most shocking part, and I'm going to ask you like if you have like a kind of mental breakdown a little bit, because summer split is the most important split for players, 100%. This is how you make yourself like a name, let's say for next year. People show you like if you have been whole year, it doesn't matter, like if you perform on summer split, and not playing on summer split is really, really important. So how that affected to you?
I mean, to go back to the ERL stuff, I think it's not like I saw a lot of people talking about ego or something about ERL, like going back to from LEC, but I think for me it's more like I want to compete like seriously, and I want to have a project that I believe in, and also like going back to academy, the half year benching players that didn't ask for anything, you know, like to be honest, they were performing decently. Like middle of the year, just going in this roster, like breaking the dynamics for me. It's not like that's not how I want to do things, you know. So I'm down to play in ERL as long as it's with players I believe in, you know. And then for the summer split part, first of all, I was just really mad at how it was done and how I felt like not my career, right, but my year 2024
Was up, yeah.
was because there is nothing you can do unless I want to play in academy, but that was not my choice. That was more like, oh, we buy, but you can play here if you want. And also, as a French player, I would rather play in LFL, to be honest, than playing in Prime League. Yeah, I think I understand the changes if SK wants to make Worlds, because as you said, summer is like the most important split because of season that comes after Worlds, and that it's like the split that everyone remembers. But I think one of the reasons that I don't really agree on that I was given is that I could not adapt to a Korean support because of language barrier, but I think that's kind of fake. But also, I kind of agree with it in the way that it's better to put 2 Korean players in the team because then they don't feel disconnected from, you know.
So one of the reasons they told you is like that you wouldn't adapt to a Korean support.
Yeah.
Kind of weird, right?
Yeah, to me it was kind of fake. But in the beginning I was really mad because to me they kind of took like random LCK Challengers League players. But now I see them play and I think they are pretty good. Especially Real, I think he's very good. He has very nice mechanics. So I'm less salty than at the beginning when I was just so mad.
Well, at least like you like have reflected a lot on it. Like it shows. So I wanted to ask you something that it's more about like personal or how you see this stuff. Like, do you think anything has changed between like first split Exakick and this last split Exakick, like on your way of performing, like on your routine or the way you think about scrims or your performance, something like that? Like, do you feel something like notable has changed?
I think there is a special effect for every player that plays their first split ever in LEC. I think I saw it with myself in winter 2023 when I was stomping everyone. I think in scrims, me and Dos were working really hard with the owner to improve as well. I think we were very hungry to win, and when I was losing, I was also just crying because it meant so much to me, you know. Yeah, I think I lost this fire when it's like something new, you know. I think
this motivation, right?
Yeah, it's kind of weird to say because it's our job and stuff, but there is something that you can't. It's very hard to reproduce because when I think I was 19 or something, and it's like my dream to play in LEC, and then I finally played. There is some more motivation than just wanting to win, you know. It's like something more, and I saw it this year with the Mad Lion roster. I felt like it was the same as me in last year, you know. Like winter, they are complete gods, and now they are just kind of shit, you know. So yeah, I think that this definitely changed. I think in the routine, I was waking up earlier this year to go to the gym, so I don't know if this created the tiredness and if I perform worse, but also it was a different group. I think we had more fun in 2023 because we were all kind of young, whereas I think this year was too many issues, and yeah, I think the group was just not working, to be honest.
So you, like, I feel what you're saying is like the spark, right? Like when you first promote, you're super motivated. You I feel the same as you told on Man Lions, like the first split, super flashy, you want to make plays all the time. So for example, that's really interesting because when Swiro first promoted to LEC, I asked him about this and he told me like, yeah, it was my dream to play here, and if I'm getting relegated, doesn't mean that much to me because I will try to make it again, you know. It's like my motivation. If it's not split, it will be another split. So that's like what I wanted to ask you a bit, like when you make it, like you get some runs into playoffs, you're kind of close to the title. Maybe not because only one team wins the split, or the year, which normally is G2. So you fight to be second or going to Worlds. How do you keep yourself motivated after that? Like,
I mean, for me, my main motivation when I go to the office is to win scrims. I know some players don't care. Like, for example, if I can say, like, Niski doesn't care about winning scrims. He just wants to play good, But for me, yeah, my main goal is just like performing and winning scrims because that's where I build my confidence to go into the officials. As you said in the beginning of the interview, you felt like this split I was spring split I was not like very confident, and I think it comes a lot from this because I think our scrim environment was not the best. So then we don't win in scrims. Then it's very hard to like randomly on the weekend be confident, because when you get shit stomped during the weekend, then you have to come into the weekend and you play G2. It's very hard to like just say, oh, we are gonna storm them. Like for me, it's like a long, consistent work that you need to do during practice. I think that's kind of it.
so for you, like the process is the real important stuff, right?
Yeah.
So it's a bit what you mentioned, like since ERL, like whenever I saw you, I feel like you are one of these confident, cocky guys that like to tweet before make some banter, before match. So I love that type of players. I feel like it's something that we need more into esports, into League of Legends, like, and it's something unique, and I enjoy a lot this type of guys. Also, it shows up a lot on your way of playing. Like you're you're more flashy. You take risk and all this stuff. So on the first split that you were on the LEC, I felt that a lot. It's a bit like what you told, like there was that spark, and the last split you were really like not so shiny. So
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to ask you, what do you think has changed, like on that to lose a bit your confidence? You feel it's everything on the screen part, like that you told, or it's something also about like the pressure, like
Yeah.
fans, like hating and all this stuff?
I think I never cared too much about like the hating part because there was not like so much hate, or I never saw like international fans hate, to be honest. Because I don't read, like, for example, Reddit. I don't check what happens there. I don't even have an account. For me, what have changed is like in winter 2023, I didn't care who I was playing against, in the way that I was so excited about playing that I was just focusing on me and focusing on my instinct to play the game. Whereas I think this last split, I think sometimes I was choking because I was playing against Hans or playing against G2, instead of focusing on the fundamentals. Or when I was playing, for example, against Flackhead, I really wanted to stomp him, so I was playing more aggro than I should, and then I was making mistakes. So I think it's like kind of ego, I guess, in a way, that got into me. Whereas in 2023, I was at least first split, I was very humble and just focusing on having fun, more like legit having fun. I was just having fun on stage, and I felt like now in 2024, stage was very scary to me, more than having fun.
I think it's like a deep thought. For me, sometimes I saw you guys, and it's like I feel the same way as you feel when you. It happens to a lot of players, right? Like they have a good split, they get really hype, and then like the ego come to you, and like you're young, you're getting claimed by all these fans. You have a lot of money in the bank because LEC players like have a nice salary, so it's normal to get driven to that. But I feel like it's always easy to get back to fundamentals. So to get back to LEC, I have to ask you. We're moving to next question about ADCs, because for me, like ADC is the most stacked role, I would say, on LEC. Don't know how you
Mhm.
feel about it.
Yeah, I think so.
Right now there is all this trend about Korean imports. You feel
Mhm.
it on your skin how this is affecting us. So what do you feel about AD carry role on Europe, and what do you think of all this Korean trend?
Obviously, I don't think it's good for the European talent development, but that's kind of shared by everyone, I think. Also, I think there is a big risk by taking Koreans in your team that they don't adapt very well to Europe, and then it just spiral, you know. I've seen it with my friends in ERL that have Koreans in their team. Well, sometimes it's just very hard to make it work, but also I think it's gonna push us like European ADCs in a way to improve and watch how they play, because we kind of want to go back to LEC. You know, I want to go back to LEC, so at some point I need to be better than those guys. I don't think it's great, but it's like when you are a team, esport team, and there is like, I don't know, there is like sponsors and there is like money involved and stuff, and then let's say you didn't perform for 2 splits when you had like a big budget roster. Like, I can understand that they just take the short-term solution, you know, to make it work. So yeah.
Well, now that you mention, like, I love to ask this question to players, or especially, what do you think about the current LEC format? Because my feelings, and as you told, like, it's a really big risk being a rookie or a newcomer into this LEC format, because if you have one bad split, you're especially if it's winter. If you're 9 or 10th, you're getting replaced 99%, unless you don't have, your doesn't have money to spend on new players, and it's way riskier than before, right? How do you see yourself from a professional point of view player?
I think the format is good if you win, and the format is if you lose. Like
in life, right?
Yeah, I really don't like it. I would rather do 18 games, best of threes. I don't know, like SK. I think it would be so fun. I think you could improve a lot. I think players would play more in officials, get more practice. I don't know why we have to do 3 splits. I think we are the only league that actually does it. I don't think LCS is still doing it. I don't think they ever did actually. I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
Well, they didn't, but they have like a opening tournament, like a lock-in, right? Like on Valorant.
Yeah.
So it was like 3 splits, but it was a tournament and 2 split. What you guys feel less comfortable on this split is like on this format is about playing 3 days is really bad, because you don't have that much games of scrims. So that's something that teams claim a lot this split to LEC to change, and that's why they are playing now 2 games on week, because like if you have 3 games of officials, right, and 1 free day, you only have 3 days of practice. So if you're playing the same amount of practice than officials, it's going to be mental. That's something interesting that a lot of players get mad about. So yeah, it's always interesting to watch your point, guys. So let's move to the next question.
I just wanted to react to the 3 days of practice and 3 days of officials, because like you said that we could add like 1 more day of practice, right, with like only 2 days of officials. I think it would be nice, but I think the scrim culture should also improve for that to be useful. But I think it's going in the right way with the G2 management, what they are doing. Like, you know, like how Romain at the end of the split, he shows like the whiteboard with all the scrims, and they kind of try to share their, not everything, but like how they see the training. And I think if you want to have 4 days of training, you should like use it like smart, you know, because I don't think it's the case for every team.
Yeah, scrim culture is something that it's like a big topic, and we could talk like 2 hours about it, because every people like blame all the rest of the teams, that they get late and all this shit. It's always a mess, and it's something like that we talked about a lot, but it doesn't seem to change. So I don't know what's going on. I'm not a pro player, and neither a manager coach to have all the points of view, right? So, but it's something that for sure needs to change. So I want to let this LEC part and all this game part a bit away, and talk to you about more of your personal side, right? I want to talk especially one really interesting point to me about you guys is how you handle stress and criticism, because it's something that it has been affecting a lot to the players, and most of the guys that I have interviews with, like Supa, Oscar, Fresh, Mirwin, struggled a bit at the beginning with this, with stress and criticism and that they need to win, because if they don't win, like all their world is a mess and everything is going wrong, and some of them are like really dependent on solo queue. So how do you focus on not dealing with stress and criticism?
First, I want to talk about like the solo queue stuff. I think I can relate to this. Like for me, if the solo queue is not going well, then I feel like I'm not going well as well. You know, I feel like I'm not confident. I think that's where, like in the confidence step, I think that's where it's like the step one. You know, like performing in solo queue, having a good rank. You know, like I think it should be the case for every player, to be honest. Or like, for example, when I see that the top 10 of the ladder is LFL players and not LEC players, for me it's like, you know, not normal. But I think I handle criticism like pretty bad. Depends. I mean, it also depends, because international criticism I don't really care. But when it's like in French, I don't know what happens in my brain, but it's like different, you know, when it's like in your native language.
Yeah, do you feel that you get too hated, like on French side?
No, I think the French fans are really nice, but I think there are some times when you don't perform well and then you get flamed on Twitter. It's like very hard to handle. So I think we pro players, I would take the example of Noah, what he did of stepping away from social media. I think that's very good. I think we should do it more, and I should have done it as well. It's very tricky because as a pro player you are a brand kinda, so you need Twitter, you know, you need socials. So yeah, I think I should improve for the future on this stuff.
Caps, right? Like I think
Yeah,
I haven't seen Caps tweet a single time last.
yeah,
And the other one, for example, for me is Razor, but Razor only tweets like memes and this kind of stuff. Never about, well, if they lose a game, he blames himself. But like then you close Twitter and it, right?
yeah.
So that's
Wait, there was one more thing. It was criticism and what? And pressure.
yeah.
I think there is many things you can do if you are stressed. I think there is like self-talk, like legit. You go in the bathroom, you go in front of the mirror and you just talk to yourself. I was doing it sometimes in LDLC. I remember, not too much in SK because I was not really stressed. You can close your eyes, you can meditate, you can do breathing exercise, you warm up on stage. But I think it's more like, unless you are like born confident person, I think you will be stressed in your first games, but it will get better in like the more you play.
We'll get used to it.
Yeah. But there is 100% chance you choke your first games in competitive.
Yeah, like for me, the biggest example for sure is Oscar, right? Like first 3 games of Oscar were disgusting, like really disgusting, and now probably he's one of the best top laners of.
Yeah.
So also it's a bit on the team, right? To give you guys confidence, like performance coach or the psychologist, because you guys have a lot of structure in teams.
Yeah, I think there is not many coaching staff that are competent in this. I think the ones I can think about that can help you a lot is like probably Vitality, even though they don't perform too well. I think Mac and Pad are very nice to put you in a good mood. I think there is BDS and G2. I don't know how Fnatic and Mad staffs are, you know, like as a person, but I think it's also on the coaching staff side to make you feel comfortable, you know.
That's interesting. I want to move to another part because when I was preparing the interview, I was looking on Wikipedia and all this stuff, man, and I was thinking like, okay, Exakick has to be like older than me, right? And has to be 25 or something like that. And when I watched your born age, you're like 20, you're going to be 21 this year, and I'm like, bro, this guy, like, it feels like you've been playing 10 years on LEC already, and you have been playing almost 2 years and a half, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, in the DLC.
With DOS, I want to talk a bit about DOS, this Exakick DOS relationship.
Mm-hmm.
What would you say for me it feels and it seems like it's getting to an end, right? What would you say is the thing that you have learned the most with DOS over the years?
That's a good question actually, because when I think about it, there is not much that comes to my brain, because it's like it felt like it was so natural that it was not like a. I mean, I could talk about game specific stuff, but I don't think that's like too interesting.
No, it's more about yours. Like it's what like you told. If it's natural, for example, Supa told us that when the first time he saw Alvaro, it was love on the first sight. You know, like
Yeah.
saw him and it's like this guy fits me so well. You felt the same with DOS, right?
Yeah. I mean, it was back in Misfit when he was in Misfit Premiere, and I was tryouting because Neon was banned for 6 months or something. I don't know if you remember.
Yeah, I remember. I don't know why, but
I mean, I know, but it's whatever. But yeah, I was tryouting, and I was very like a big fan of those, because he was that was the time when he was like rank 1, you know, on cooldown. He was rank 1, 70% rate, blah blah blah. And I really wanted to play with him because of the solo queue part, like duo queue, because back then you could still duo queue, and I wanted to play duo queue, and then I wanted to play LFL with him and stuff. So I guess in a way it was kind of like Supa and Alvaro, like love on first sight. They offered me a substitute in Miss Premiere, which I declined because it was like a 3 years contract, like complete shit stuff. At 16 years old, I think it would be the worst choice of my life. And then I played in LDLC, and I was playing with Yellowstar at the beginning, and I think I was pretty like a shit kid, to be honest. Pretty hard to work with, very cocky. You know, like your first team when you're young, usually you behave like, to be honest, you behave like a kid, you know?
yeah, like you are a kid.
Yeah, I mean, still kinda. I'm still kinda, but back then it was like even worse. And then we make changes, and we take DOS, and then yeah, I just kept playing with him. I think 2022 we were like peak, so when we went to LEC, it was pretty obvious for me that we go together. And then in 2024 I had a choice, and I took him again because I was confident that we had a good synergy, and I think we could do even better than we did in 2023. And I think the thing that I've learned the most is, I think it's like you should talk a lot with your support about the game, review a lot after every game, like ask the other guy what he thinks, so you're on the same page, because it's like it's pretty important to not have to say the stuff you want to do.
For you, the being on the same page and like doing things automatically, right, instead of talking too much in game, right?
Yeah. I think it would be this, and yeah. I think that's my answer for this question.
Okay, I want to. Well, basically, you told ourselves 2022 was your pick. I think it was DOS Exakick versus Supa Alvaro, the most hype match on ERL for sure. And you talk about decisions, Exakick, so I'm going to link it to my next question, which is the first time you were getting promoted to LEC. Several clubs were interested on you, SK, Vitality, and Fnatic.
Yeah. So I think how it's I need to remember what happened actually this off season, but I know there was SK.
Specifically, it was because of DOS. Like DOS was a really important part why you chose SK over the rest of the teams, because for me, if Fnatic is interested on me and SK also, here is Fnatic and here is SK, right? Like there are levels, but you choose the most humble team on the.
I think I would change this a bit. Like what happened, I think it was Fnatic was interested, like really interested. SK was also interested. Vitality was interested, and then they stopped. Like there was never an offer, you know. Okay. It was like, hey, blah blah, we had you in some convos, blah blah, and then it was never like. And there was also Mad Lions, but in the rank, what Mac told me is that they were waiting for Karz's answer, and then Karzi just took Mad Lions, and then I was back to Fnatic and SK. But I had the contract of Mad Lions, so it was more advanced even than Vitality, you know. And for my choice, I think I remember I was watching the office of SK, and I really liked it. I really liked housing and stuff, and I think the salary was pretty nice, even though I never asked Fnatic to check the contract, which I should have. Now looking back, I should have checked at least like what was the contract. But I was so confident of going in SK because I could choose my support. Not to say that Rooks was really bad, but I was kind of scared to go to Fnatic because back then I think it was Wunder, Razork, Humanoid, Rooks, and I didn't know as a rookie how it would feel to play in this team because I didn't know if I would just be like this level and then Humanoid and stuff, and you know they are here. I don't have much like voice. I didn't think Rooks would be like very good fit with me. I think those would have been better. Which are if like let's say Fnatic would have taken not locked Rooks like first second of Mercato and I could go with DOS in Fnatic, I would definitely go Fnatic, you know?
So DOS was a really important part.
Yeah, I really wanted to play with a support that I believe would be a good fit with me. I knew like Irrelevant was really hyped.
So were you like you were insanely hyped when you were getting promoted?
I actually don't remember. It's really weird.
First split was like when you guys were insane, you won the league, but EMEA Masters one was shit, and the second split was terrible. But the like your bot lane and Jake, I think, was the one who got promoted on that team.
Yeah.
Were insanely hyped. So when I got told that Fnatic was looking at you, I'm like, okay, because for me, like if G2 or Fnatic calls you on Europe, it's like they are the best historical teams, right?
I mean, for like looking back now, I think I would have gone Fnatic if I could go back in time, just because of like it's hindsight, you know what happened with SK. So now I would choose Fnatic because of what happened, you know. But that's kind of what happened in the off season.
Interesting. I have two more questions, Exa, and then we can go. Okay. So one is a question that I do to all my interview people. So I will leave that one, the last one. Let's go to another one because a little birdie told me that you are really close with Caliste.
Mm-hmm.
He's really hyped. I want to ask you, as a French enthusiast, are you hyped to watch him on LEC? And also, what are your thoughts on the guy? Because you both are French, both AD carries. What are your thoughts on him as his like nickname as the next Caps, right?
So first, I mean, I'm kind of hyped to see him play in LEC because I think he's probably top 3 ADCs in Europe right now. Even though he's playing in LFL, I think he's way...
Your top 3?
I think it would be Hansama, Caliste, and then I think it would be maybe either Israel or Karzi, I think. Because, I mean, Karzi is kind of getting griefed, in my opinion. He's pretty good, but it's kind of unlucky right now.
He gets grief to all the teams he goes. Like, on Vitality, he was getting grief, like turbo grief by Alfari and Perks. On my Lions, things are not going that well sometimes, so yeah.
But I think he's still like one of the best. But I think it's like Hans, Caliste, and then like it's not like 1, 2, 3. You know, it's like 3. Like Hans, Caliste, either Israel or Karzi.
So you're not a bit afraid that Caliste, Caliste might take one of your spots for next year or something like that?
I mean, if things go according to how it's supposed to go for him, and like everyone is saying, he will just go to KC. You know, I don't think he will take one of my spots. I think he's just like taking an upset spot at best. Then the next question should be like, is Upset gonna take one of my spots? You know, that's just how it should be. And I think I can compete with Upset, so I'm not really scared. I think Caliste right now is probably like better than me. Like I think he's just in his peak, to be honest. He has very nice mechanics. I think he's smart about the game. I think he's like just like good player. You know, like he's better than most of the LFL players. And I think the only ADC in LFL that can match with Caliste is probably on Samdi, which probably might go to ADC as well. So because he's just very good. Wait, what was the next thing? Because he's like ADC. I forgot the second part of the question.
If you are, what are your thoughts on all this hype Caliste is getting as the next Caps? Like people.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think it's very hard to be the next Caps because back then I think people were not as good as Caps. I think people are getting better now. Like there is many good players, whereas back then I think Caps was very far ahead of the others. It's kind of like what people said in the Faker documentary, like how far ahead he was from the players at that time. In a way, I think being 17 years old and being as good as he is, is pretty impressive, and I think it might be the next like AD king of the LEC, you know, because yeah, I think it's like very impressive. But also with all the Korean imports, you could say the same with all the Koreans because they are just way better than the European, like average European ADCs. I think he could be the next Caps, but he still needs to work hard, and I think it's like a big motivation for me to not to say that I'm old and then I need to keep up with the young because it's like only almost 2 years, so it's like nothing, you know. But I think it's like more like a rival, you know. So I think it's good.
Let's move to the last question, Exa. This is a question I ask to all my interview people, which is basically, if you could give an advice to your 5 years ago self, which one would be?
I think it would be don't focus on social media, focus on solo queue, build a routine, be careful about what you eat, how much you sleep, do some exercise, and talk with your support and review your games, I think.
You are the first one that tells me that many things. Wow. I can list you some answers. For example, Machuki told us to read more, Merced told us to focus more on the process, Supa told us to listen to everything that Merced tells him. But you have like really clear what you missed, right? And like you have really clear what you need to focus on.
I mean, it's just like, I think if an individual works hard, smart, there is 0% chance you don't succeed. I think if you give yourself what's the English word? The possibility to be successful, you will be successful, but you should just cut the and do the boring stuff. And then you will be good. That's what the good players do. No one spawn. I mean, you can spawn with insane hands, but then you need to keep working because there is other players that are also working hard and they want to take your spot.
Yeah. So your advice will be something like you can be successful even though you have piggy hands, right?
No, I don't think you can be successful if you have piggy hands. I mean, you can try, but if you have piggy hands, you will get outplayed a lot.
That is our last question of the interview. I want you to end this because I saw you have some nice Spanish, Exakick. So I want you to feed your Spanish fans and have this talk with them. Tell them what are your plans and what we can expect from Exakick for next year.
Hola a todos los fans españoles. Soy Pablito, soy French. Yo juego contra Skane y Sendo how do you say days? 2 días ago, and I won. Gracias por el apoyo en la LEC. Maybe yo juego en la LVP next year. I don't know, but thanks for the support.
Okay, now that you mention it, Skane, best support on history of Spain. What do you tell us some words about him?
I don't know, and I think he's just very funny. I love going to Flack's stream and just seeing all the memes on Skane. But I don't know. I think Trayton is better. But let's see. They should do 1v1 one day. Like they should do boxing 1v1.
Yeah, I think it will be banger, right? Like we need
legit banger
to the LEC guys, like implement it so you can fight maybe Flacket no, because like Flacket is a minion, but maybe Supa can match you. Who knows? Anyways, thank you a lot, Exakick, for the interview.
Thank you.
We will see you guys on the next interview. Have fun and tell me on comments what are your thoughts. And